For my 21st birthday, my grandparents took me and my family to the Green Island Country Club. It's only a 5-minute drive from their house, and it's their favorite fancy eatery to frequent. My grandmother wears a fake pearl necklace, and I know my grandfather helps her dress because her ensemble matches and her skirt isn't on backwards. She wore pants backward for a day. Dinner is great, if not a bit awkward. My grandfather and mother keep getting up to get my grandmother food instead of letting her do it herself, which makes her irritated. The section of the country club we ate in was like a buffet, self-serve, and my grandfather and mother were too nervous to have her serve herself. My grandmother used to be the one doing the serving, so their actions made her feel helpless or exacerbated the feeling. My grandfather gets her tea when she mentions it in passing, but when it arrives at the table, she gets angry, saying she never asked for it. Later, she can't even cut her steak properly, but gets mad when my mom helps and easily cuts into it. I'm seated in between my grandparents, and she keeps leaning over to ask if I have enough food, repeatedly, asking if I have vegetables and if I want any of her salad. At one point, she dropped a shrimp on the ground. She picked it up before my mom could circle the table and get it. We all offer to throw it away. She declines and keeps it in her hand. Roughly 5 minutes later, she eats it. One can assume that she forgot she dropped it in the first place. Do you want the light on? Are you sure? You'll ruin your eyes. During the same Christmas as the garbage bag turkey, my aunt, uncle, parents, and a few of my younger cousins are out in the woods on an ATV. I'm sitting on the couch in the living room on my laptop trying to catch up on shows. My headphones are in, so I don't hear anything at first. I see my grandmother angrily dragging her luggage to the front door. Mimi, what are you doing? I hear my grandfather ask her how she plans on getting back to their house with no car or license. She keeps dragging her bags out of the house anyways. My grandfather and their remaining grandchildren follow her outside. By the time I catch up, my grandmother is screaming at my grandfather. You can hear it from the bottom of the driveway. She's walking, screeching at my grandfather, while a trail of grandkids follow them down Highway 80. I'm too far away to hear what she's saying. It sure makes for a comical picture. Later, my mom tells me that my Mimi didn't understand a conversation and got mad at my grandfather for not interpreting it for her like he's been trying to. Do you want the light on? Are you sure? You'll ruin your eyes. Do you want the light on? You're going to ruin your eyes. No, Mimi, I'm on my laptop. It's lit enough. I'm fine. Okay, are you sure? Yes, I say, getting irritated because she won't drop it, and it isn't the first time tonight she's asked. She turns the light on anyway. Once she's far enough down the hall, I turn it back off. I sigh in relief. She asks me about the lighting every time I come over, even if I have the lamp on. Do you want the light on? Are you sure? You'll ruin your eyes. A few months ago, my Mimi walked out of the house and got lost. I had been at work all day and didn't hear about it until I got home. My grandfather hadn't heard her leave the house, despite the security system beeping when a door was opened. I guess she forgot her way back because she was found hours later about 2 miles from the house. She thankfully hadn't left their Green Island Hills neighborhood. My grandparents and grandfather had been looking, but the cops found her in someone's backyard by the woods. She was scratched up and confused, but otherwise fine. My mom lectured my grandfather that night. He couldn't keep pretending that my grandmother's condition wasn't a problem. I doubt she even remembers getting lost, let alone why she left the house in the first place. Do you want the light on? Are you sure? You'll ruin your eyes. I'm conflicted, feeling guilty that she annoys me now, but she's no longer the grandma I grew up with. Deep down, she's still the same, but it doesn't feel that way. And being a grandkid, I can't ever correct her. In her mind, she's still the authority figure. I feel sorry for my young cousins, both under 10 years, who won't remember what she used to be like. She still cares. She still tries to feed me and give me unneeded gifts, but she isn't the advice giver and cooking grandmother that she used to be. She doesn't go out anymore, partially because she no longer drives after leaving her car in drive and letting it back into 2 other cars. Most of her friends have either died or moved away. Out of their 3 kids, my mom puts in the most work. It's why we moved to Columbus, to be near them when it was inevitable that my Mimi was losing it. I see what it does to my grandfather. He's losing his soulmate piece by piece. She had the option to get tested for Alzheimer's a few years back and refused. I guess she was scared that she would have it and wanted to pretend that it wouldn't happen, and now it's obvious that she has it. My grandfather is the same, despite his healing neck injury from a car accident last semester. But he's constantly stressed now, Getting a lady from their church to help babysit her when he isn't home, and even while he is home, helped, but he's losing her. She might have a moment where she seems just like old Mimi, but she no longer is. He sleeps next to her still, shares meals with her, but she's regressing. She's a shell of who she used to be, and it's like having a living ghost around. I wonder if and when it'll take me. If it does, I might go so far to take myself out of the picture. I don't want to live in a Groundhog Day, not even realizing it. I don't want it to hurt my family like it's hurting my family now. Outsiders think it's harsh, but if you're around it enough, you see what it does. Do you want to be the same person when I die, not a shell of who I used to be with altered memories? Do you want the light on? Are you sure? You went in your eyes.